Welcome to Module 5 of Environmental Management, where we discuss complex environmental systems and the processes behind decision-making when knowledge is incomplete or uncertain. We will also explore how scenario analysis is used to support decision-making in complex systems. Complex systems are inherently difficult to model because of their complex interactions between parts, numerous processes, components and interconnections, nonlinearity, the many feedback loops, and changes over time. Linear thinking is often used in policy development, and incomplete knowledge and adaptive management strategies challenge this way of thought. However, environmental decision makers are increasingly recognizing the importance of these strategies in preventing environmental degradation. The Murray-Darling Basin has been fraught with management problems since the inception of federal government management in 2007, but these environmental issues in the basin started well prior to that time. It is a complex system covering 14% of Australia's mainland and spanning over 5 states and territories. Complexity in the Murray-Darling Basin results from a combination of multiple stakeholders, including governments, investors, farmers, communities, environmental and indigenous groups, along with ecological issues including salinity, algal blooms, blackwater events, acidic soil, biota decline, and climate change. Much of the initial Murray-Darling Basin Plan decision-making and policy was informed by quantitative analysis, not accounting for social values and incomplete knowledge. Climate change is an example of a probable future issue that was not given appropriate consideration due to the uncertainty. While quantitative approaches will often serve a purpose for policy development and implementation in less complex systems, the complexity of the basin requires a holistic approach, also including qualitative inputs, scenario analysis, adaptive management, and use of the precautionary principle. Complex living systems are characterized by scientific uncertainty, and the decision-making process must also encompass stakeholder groups. Each stakeholder views and values problems differently, and input from all will add dimension to uncertainties and increase knowledge for the decision-making process. Many of the problems with the initial Murray-Darling Basin Plan stemmed from a lack of knowledge, incomplete knowledge, and failure to consult and implement recommendations from qualified stakeholders. More recent Murray-Darling Basin plans have also failed to address a lot of these issues. A 2019 Royal Commission found that, among other problems, the plan failed to address the risk of climate change and failed to act on best available science, lacked transparency, and decision-making was politically driven rather than science-based. Perhaps it's easier to ignore the issues of incomplete knowledge. Policymakers and scientists have certainly not identified all the components, processes, drivers, and interactions within this complex system. Human activity adds to the complexity. These complexities reinforce the need for maximum stakeholder knowledge and opinion in the decision-making process. Between states, knowledge transfer is minimal, administered through a small number of federal bodies. Failure to take advantage of local management learnings results in fragmented effort, missed opportunities, and lost knowledge that could be useful in decision-making processes across the basin. Central government funded a whole-of-basin river flow framework, but policymakers failed to holistically include the social, economic, and ecological aspects. A good biophysical base exists and knowledge continues to grow, but uncertainty lingers about how this complex system and its parts will react to stressors. To add to the complexities and uncertainties, organisations such as the National Water Commission have since dissolved, and this stakeholder organisation has taken with it a wealth of knowledge and best practices. Decision-making in complex systems with incomplete knowledge is certainly a challenge. So, how can scenario analysis be used to support decision-making in complex systems? Scenario analysis uses neither projections nor forecasts of the future, but an image of the future or an alternative future. There should always be several scenarios to analyse. Scenario analysis allows stakeholders to imagine the future in a structured yet creative manner, accounting for the current situation, adding driving forces, comparing results, and evaluating consequences. Past trends should also be considered. Scenario analysis could be used in the Murray-Darling Basin to analyse probable changes affecting the state of the system over time. Analysis should include the perceived end state of the system and its components over a specified period. Scenario analysis can be used to educate and inform, for scientific assessment, to gather views, to advocate for change, as a long-term planning tool, and to contribute to policy making. It challenges mental models of the future, and this allowable creativity may just provide an important alternative view. In conclusion, the complexities of decision-making using incomplete knowledge in the Murray-Darling Basin and other complex systems are challenging. An increase in stakeholder consultation and opinion will add to knowledge and become an important environmental management tool. Decisions on the management of complex systems characterized by incomplete knowledge need management tools that include the use of qualitative and quantitative inputs, adaptive management strategies, use of the precautionary principle, stakeholder participation, and scenario analysis. A holistic approach.